What's up, guys? It is Dan and Nick back with another episode of F1 2021 Co-op Career Mode in the Williams. Just 2 races to go of Season 2 before we decide to pack up and move teams away from Williams. I think we've pretty much outstayed our welcome here at this point. A tale of 2 seasons, one very successful in a car which is underperforming, and one very unsuccessful, probably where the car should be in reality. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe and hit that notification bell for more videos as we move on to the starting grid for this race. And it's Charles Leclerc for Ferrari on pole, followed by Max Verstappen. So good result for him. We don't often see anyone other than Red Bull and Mercedes up there. They're followed by Perez and Tsunoda, Pierre Gasly, Daniel Ricciardo at his home Grand Prix, Nick, Lando Norris, Valtteri Bottas in the top 10, and Carlos Sainz. Following them, we have George Russell and me, Lewis Hamilton with an engine penalty, and Nicholas Latifi, Lance Stroll, Giovinazzi, Mick Schumacher, Nikita Mazepin, and right at the back with additional penalties, Fernando Alonso and Esteban Ocon. Now, let's get to the racing.
The Austrian Grand Prix.
Everything's
in Melbourne.
upside down. We're stood on our heads to watch this the right way up, but don't worry, I'll
A
fix
long
that in
hold
editing.
on the grid.
Justin Freshpot moves up a couple
It's
of places.
madness into turn 1.
This car's just weaving all over the place. Justin Freshpot on the grass. Cut round the corner. Radiant Slothz fighting with Carlos Sainz and Lewis Hamilton, who for some reason starting down there. George Russell with an audacious dive bomb up the inside.
Radiant Sauce hits the Ferrari and pushes him off the track.
Spooked by George Russell, who made a very strange move. This is the onboard, and Radiant Slothz out of nowhere doesn't see George Russell and hits the Ferrari in avoiding action.
Radiant Sauce now looking for the next person to crash into. Instead, he misses the corner, gets overtaken.
Lewis Hamilton escaping with his life from Radiant Slothz. As,
Will he lose another position here? No. He maybe clips the front of the Ferrari, but doesn't lose the position.
Carlos Sainz
Massive train now forming. Justin Freshpot here, not causing a train, definitely.
But he is
He
absolutely
nicks out
murdering
the rear
that
of the
bollard. Kills a bollard and lobs it into the barrier on the other end of the corner. And
Radiant
Carlos
Sauce
Sainz
run wides again and loses another position.
struggling to get heat into the tyres in that Williams, which is what you would describe as a car. He drives down well under the limit. Into turn 1 he goes. Can he make some time back on Carlos
Can he catch
Sainz?
Carlos Sainz, who he's now 10 laps behind?
No, but he's come
Lance
under
Stroll.
attack from Stroll. Not able to get past him. Lance Stroll in a terrible car as well. Shocking from the Aston Martin team.
Some fresh wire under heavy pressure from Daniel Ricciardo, who flies to the outside,
Justin
moving all
Freshpot
over the place.
once
Justin
again
Freshpot panicking.
for the 2nd year in a row, crashing into the Australian at his home race, infuriating the crowd and winding up Daniel Ricciardo to no end as he comes round
Williams
onto the
stays
pit
ahead.
straight. Ricciardo going to have
The McLaren
DRS.
will have DRS. We can't see Ricciardo.
Is
There
this
he is.
Is this an attempt for Justin Freshpot to show the McLaren team what he's made of as he drives over the grass and ruins the lawn? Daniel Ricciardo moves to the inside, he gets pushed,
That McLaren much faster.
and Justin Freshpot calls his inside line, and he's hit the
A
McLaren
lot
again
of contact
on the
from
wheel.
Ricciardo.
He's hit
More
Ricciardo again.
contact. The Williams stays ahead into the grass.
Destroys some of the daisies. Ricciardo fuming. He cuts the corner to try and stay ahead of Daniel Ricciardo. And this is Radiant
Sauce
Slothz.
now 6 laps ahead of Lance Stroll.
An incredible amount of pace that he's found in the Williams as he runs off the
5 laps
track.
in, as he misses the corner, he almost spins, he gets overtaken again. He's now defending from Nicholas Latifi. How embarrassing.
Antonio Giovinazzi has DNF'd. I think we're going to see him as Justin Freshpot goes over where he murdered that
Blows
bollard.
down through the yellow flags. A safe driver.
Ricciardo, he's coming.
Ricciardo not slowing down.
He had the DRS open. He had no intention of easing off there. Now, if the eagle-eyed amongst you may have noticed, Justin Freshbot now 9 seconds behind Yuki Tsunoda as Daniel Ricciardo goes up the
Daniel
inside.
Ricciardo hits him.
He gives him room. That is a rare sight from Justin Freshbot. Daniel Ricciardo tucks back in, goes to the inside for turn one. He's pushed onto the pit lane. Daniel Ricciardo up. There's contact. He's killed the Australian at his home Grand Prix.
Daniel Ricciardo has T-boned Justin Freshbot.
We may never see Daniel Ricciardo.
Hopefully has no damage.
Lando Norris
as now the other McLaren looks to avenge his fallen comrade, who is now in P19.
Norris.
Justin Freshbot, like there's Norris all over the shop.
To the outside,
looking around the outside,
over onto the curb. Lewis Hamilton watches on, loving this. He's getting 3 overtakes, but no work. As Lando Norris once again looks to the outside this time, gets alongside and past, but on the brakes, he's not.
Williams on the brakes. What a driver!
Nearly comes to blows with Justin Freshbot once again, but somehow makes it past.
Coming now into the fast left-right section.
Into the left-hander.
The Williams.
Into the right-hander.
The Williams doing everything he can.
Sorry
to
interrupt you, Nick. It's Norris. He's crashed into the wall.
Norris spinning for no reason on a straight and spearing it to the wall. What a driver.
Justin Freshbot into the pits.
He's pitting to think about what Norris did and why it happened. He's
Safety car has been deployed. There are the flags. And everyone's in. They've all come in at once. This is Radiant Slothz, the Williams crew, waiting for Christmas and finally let him go. He does gain a few positions thanks to the double stacking other cars, and is now out ahead of Esteban Ocon for what will be the restart in a few laps' time.
Some Freshbot here incredibly in 5th. He's maybe been somewhat responsible for 2 McLarens being last, but you can't blame it on him as they go racing again. He's already lost 6 tenths to Max Verstappen. He's now under pressure from Lewis Hamilton.
Lewis Hamilton will be looking to clear him pretty quickly. He looks to the outside, no DRS just yet, so he has to make do with crashing into him.
It's the Williams.
Revenge, you could say, for earlier on in the season. At some point, they've probably crashed into each other. As
the Williams here reaching speeds of 65 miles an hour, as he's on the podium now, incredibly, as Perez and Tsunoda didn't stop under the safety car.
A terrible strategy from the Mercedes garage, and now Lewis Hamilton remains the lead Mercedes. Radiant Slothz over the grass
in the points, but decides, no, I'm going to corner cut instead. He's now looking to be overtaken by Esteban Ocon and whoever that is at the same time.
Pierre Gasly, they've sandwiched him. He can't do anything. George Russell gets through as well.
There's a patch of dust on the track. Radiant Slothz is out of the points. There is a massive gaggle of cars.
He's unable to get temperature into the tyres. There's a Haas trying to get past him right now, and he's been sandwiched by 3 cars. He is not having a good race, and his driver number's wrong as well. He couldn't get away with not pointing that out.
Radiant Slothz somehow now back in 10th.
And he's already thrown it away. He spins the final corner. Mick Schumacher crashes into him for no reason.
Everyone crashing behind him.
Nikita Mazepin's not moving.
Not having a good day.
Nikita Mazepin did crash in DNF. That is why he wasn't moving. He is not dead. He is getting out of the car. Radiant Slothz still in 10th somehow, but Carlos Sainz looking to get past him. And he spears him into the wall.
Radiant Slothz gives him no room and goes into the wall as he spins back onto the track, getting in everyone's way. Will he finish last?
Nearly getting hit.
The onboard here. Radiant Slothz there clearly turning left into the path of the Ferrari. And we suspiciously cut away from him spinning back onto the track as Justin Freshbot tries to defend his podium position here from Lewis Hamilton, the 0-time race winner apparently in this championship.
Lewis Hamilton had a dog of a season. Goes to the inside. He hits the Williams one last time for good measure, but he has managed to get past Justin Freshbot. Not able to get past.
Doesn't have enough.
You could say that all that did was cost him time there as he tried that move. He should have stayed behind him.
Now somehow he must defend from Valtteri Bottas, who's P5.
Out of nowhere, capitalising. Lance Stroll as well, up to P7 in a car which, after a recent patch, is awful. And you're barely...
Justin Freshbot with a corner cut for no reason.
And just on the left of your screen, Radiant Sloth's just been overtaken by Mick Schumacher. Now is the last of the runners.
The Williams looks for a dive bomb.
He's crashed into Lewis Hamilton again. He is a racist. Justin Freshbot is a racist. He has hit Lewis Hamilton twice in this race. Lewis Hamilton looking to come back at him. Goes to the outside at the same corner. A brave decision. He's weaving. This time,
incredible driving from these two. The respect they're showing each other as Lewis Hamilton pushes
respect
the
whatsoever.
Williams.
Justin Freshbot crashes into Lewis Hamilton. He hands Valtteri Bottas, who's about to get his best result since season 1, a 4th place. Pierre Gasly.
You have to say that was Lewis Hamilton's fault as Justin Freshbot picks up an incredible podium. Bottas got overtaken for P4.
Unfortunate for the the former world champion, and this is Radiant Sloths coming around the final section. Lewis Hamilton crashes into him for no reason at all.
Lewis Hamilton gets the two Williams cars mixed up.
And Radiant Sloths has been DNF'd for absolutely no reason again. It's driver in the daytime. Who is it today? Oh, we're not going to know because he DNF'd. Never mind.
We'll never know.
He's just driving on the straight, just weaving everywhere.
Christian Horner with his famous blonde hair, loving it. Celebrates another victory for Red Bull. But the real story is that amazing podium by the Williams.
And we've just heard that Daniel Ricciardo will lose his seat with McLaren for crashing into the Williams driver. He will not be returning to the F1 grid unless he can find another seat. And Lando Norris also with a disappointing result. His ass is on the line right now at McLaren as we're about to go onto the podium for some happier drivers. Max Verstappen, Justin Freshbot and Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc's still not able to win a race.
Verstappen with the most generic looking trophy in history. He loves it. He sprays the champagne.
He says, I've got 72 of these already, but another one will do. Sprays some champagne into the crowd that's laced with some horrific poison and goes to the photos. And here are the top 10. Of course, we already know the top 3 already, but Pierre Gasly did pit Valtteri Bottas to that 4th place position at the end of the race. On the final lap, Lance Stroll, George Russell, Lewis Hamilton, Sergio Perez and Yuki Tsunoda make up the rest of the top 10. Daniel Ricciardo just missed out on points at his home Grand Prix. And over to the season standings, it's Sergio Perez leading his teammate by just 1 single point now as we go into the finale. Yuki Tsunoda just about in it. If he hopes for a double Red Bull DNF in the finale, he could take the title. Lando Norris, Lewis Hamilton and Justin Freshbot now unable to contend for the title. Further down at the bottom, the final point scorer of Radiant Sloths now sits in 18th on 10 points behind Mick Schumacher. Over in the Constructors, Williams have solidified P4 ahead of Ferrari just about going into the final race. We'll catch you in the next one.